Netflix stock. Netflix stock is quite an enigma right now. A lot of people are wondering if they should buy Netflix stock or if Netflix is too damaged to invest in. I'm going to talk about Netflix stock. I've done a little research on it, and I have some insights in Netflix that I think will benefit you in your investing journey. So get comfortable, buckle up seatbelt. We're going to talk about Netflix stock on the Black Financial Channel right now. Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to the Black Financial Channel. That's theblackfinancialchannel.com. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins. I am your friendly neighborhood finance professor. On the Black Financial Channel, we talk about Black wealth and Black economics every single day, sometimes as much as 10 times a day under one condition. The condition is that we are Black first. Black first, B1. B1 means that we educate our kids. B1 means we break generational curses and we don't pass them on. B1 means that we want our kids to be ahead of other people's kids when it comes to understanding wealth and economics. B1 means that we love Black men, love Black women, love Black families, and want to build a Black community. So if you agree with that philosophy, if that makes sense to you, put a hashtag B in the number one. I want to make it clear. You ain't got to be Black to be here, but you got to know Black people are running this space and we ain't taking no shorts from nobody. So anyway, so let's talk about Netflix stock. How many of you saw, give me a yes or no, how many of you saw what happened with Netflix and Netflix's apparent collapse and, and what's been going on with Netflix as a company lately? Give me a yes or no in the chat if you've been kind of following this story. And what I want to do is I want to talk about Netflix and kind of give you some insights into what I'm observing here as I'm looking at Netflix and kind of determining what my next investment move might be. I've been listening to a lot of experts, reading a lot of material to try to understand if it's a buying opportunity. A lot of you have heard terms like buy the dip. Have you heard buy the dip? Or, you know what that means, right? Buy the dip. So basically with Netflix, Netflix had a collapse in its stock. Netflix stock plummeted because for the first time in 10 years, Netflix actually had negative subscriber growth, meaning they didn't get any new subscribers. They lost 200,000 subscribers. That kind of shocked the market. It sent the stock into an ugly tailspin. Things got ugly. Now, the question becomes whether or not this is a dip worth buying. Is this a situation where, hey, you might get a chance to really get in on a quality company at a good price? Or is it something where you gotta stay away from it? Don't mess around with it. It might get you in trouble. Well, let me pull up this on my screen. Hit the thumbs up button while I do this. Please hit the thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. All right, so here is Netflix stock for the last 5 days, and you can see that big dip. Now, if you're on Instagram, you can't see the video I'm putting up, but if you want to, you can go to theblackfinancialchannel.com, theblackfinancialchannel.com, and you can see the screen if you'd like, or you can just listen to me. So 5 days you see here. Netflix is hovering along, 349, 350, having fun, everything's good, and then kaboom, stock drops to 226. Holy crap! I mean, that's a hell of a drop. 350 to 256 means that within 1 day, Netflix lost billions of dollars in economic value. You can look at the market cap of Netflix is about $100 billion. So I'm going to speculate that's probably they probably had a loss of about $40 billion in market cap. Like $40 billion disappeared just like that. Now, here's another chart I want to show you just so you can keep it into context. This gives you an idea on how to analyze stocks. If you want to get better at this stuff, go to boycewatkins.com. You can join my stock market investing class. You guys know my PhD is in finance. So this is the stuff that we do just because this is what we do, as professors. And so if you look at the last 6 months, Netflix was on a continuous downtrend. Netflix is already kind of hurting. Things were happening where bad news was being revealed piece by piece by piece. I would call this the post-pandemic hangover. The post-pandemic hangover occurred for thousands of businesses across this country, some of which saw numbers during the pandemic that they'd never seen before. Believe me, but the pandemic, everybody thinks that everybody suffered economically during the pandemic. That's not true. Billionaires like Jeff Bezos made more money than they ever made during the pandemic. Elon Musk became the richest man on earth during the pandemic, made $100 billion. A lot of companies did really well during the pandemic. Zoom did extremely well during the pandemic. Netflix blew up during the pandemic. Why? Well, because all of y'all were sitting at home, Netflix and then chilling, waiting for Dr. Fauci or somebody to tell you that it was okay to go outside. So during that time, you started seeing a whole lot of decline, or a whole lot of rise in Netflix stock. If you go back and look 5 years ago, you see here Netflix is green 5 years ago. Everything turns from red. Here's blood red, right? Last 6 months, holy crap, we're at 671. Then we're down in the 500s, and then we're down. Then we really cratered at 366. Then we're down to 350. So if you're a Netflix stockholder, your feelings are hurt. You're kind of sad right now because you really thought this was a $700 stock when now the market is telling you it's a $226 stock. That sucks. And that's another reason why when you invest, you don't put all your money in one company or these bad things can happen to you. But if you go back a year, this is what you see. If you go back 5 years, you see green. That means that 5 years ago, Netflix stocks was lower than what it is right now. It was $142 a share back in 2017, and now it's $226 now. And you can also see here, let's look at the pandemic year. So this was 2020. So you saw that around March 2020, this is around the time the pandemic started. Look at what the stock's doing. So around the time of the start of the pandemic, it's at 332, which was about where it was last week. And then it kept rising and rising and rising. By 2021, you're in the 500s. You're happy. You're making money because Netflix is growing like crazy. And then 2021, holy crap, you go up to almost $700 a share because 2021 was a beautiful year and things are going extremely well. And then you have what you have right now. So let's talk about Netflix stock. And I'm going to break down for you variables to consider in the decision as to whether or not you want to buy Netflix stock. Now, before I move on, I'll remind everybody, please hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe. Please subscribe. We're building Black-owned media. We could really use your help. And also, there's a free ebook I'd love for you guys to pick up. It is the $5 a day investing plan. I have what I call the $100,000 pledge, where I want to get our families to pledge that for your children. You're going to have $100,000 in total assets available for them by the time they're 25 years old. It sounds like a crazy number. $100,000 seems like a big deal, and it really is. But actually, you can do that by investing $5 a day and doing that for your child consistently from the time that they're very little. And by the time they're 25, they'll have well over $100,000 in assets or somewhere close to that. At the very least, they won't be stuck with the pain of economic struggle. The consequences of you making that decision for your kids are huge. So the ebook, if you go to blackmoneyminute.com, I have a little ebook. Doesn't take long to read, take you a few minutes. And you can go through it and implement the $5 a day plan so that you become the hero of your family. Got it? Give me a yes in the chat if you are okay with what I'm proposing to you. You ain't got to do nothing, but as your finance professor, my job is to teach you things that are going to make your life better. Go to blackmoneyminute.com, get the book. It's free. It will change your life, I promise. So let me dig into this. Let me dig into Netflix stock and what's happening with Netflix stock. So as you know, Netflix stock took the hit recently. Whenever a stock takes a hit, whenever something bad happens, like if your child goes to jail, and you're like, wait a minute, you're not supposed to go to jail. You're a straight A student in college with no criminal record. Why are you in jail? Well, what's the first thing you're going to do? What's the first thing you're going to do? You're going to hang up the phone on them? You're going to go run up and slap them like Will Smith? Maybe, right? Maybe, if you're old school with it, right? You're going to just act like it's not a big deal? Or are you going to say, oh my God, my child's a criminal now. Their life is ruined. What are you going to do? Well, your first question should be it involve two words. What happened, right? What happened? So with Netflix, when Netflix comes along as a company with no criminal record, last 10 years has been beautiful for Netflix for the most part. And they got some competition. Disney was coming. I talked to you guys about Disney coming 4 years ago on this same platform. I've been doing this every day for 10, 12 years. 4 years ago, we were talking about Disney coming, and Disney came, and Disney came sooner than expected, largely because of the pandemic. So when Disney arrived, what you saw was this increased competition from Disney, but then other streamers started getting on board because they saw this big money Netflix was making. All the Hollywood studios were getting connected to streaming because that's where the money was. Netflix was outbidding for movies. The Warner Brothers couldn't keep up. All these other companies were like, crap, where are they getting all this money? Oh, well, they got members. They don't actually have, they don't have sort of money where they're making a big chunk of money every time they put out a blockbuster. They have memberships where people are paying every month no matter what. So a lot of people got in on the streaming game. So what had happened was that Netflix basically got it body slammed in terms of subscriber numbers for a few reasons. One, that when they pulled out of Russia, they lost 700,000 subscribers. So that one act alone, not pulling out of Russia, takes them from negative 200,000 to positive 500,000. So they were supposed to be positive. But they were negative because of the Russia thing. But here's the thing, too. 500,000 is nowhere near what the market expected. The market expected 2.73 million subscribers for Netflix this quarter, and they didn't get 2.73 million. So what else was going on? Well, Netflix comes along and they also say, like your child who's in jail, explaining on the phone what happened. So let me tell you what else happened, mom and dad. Netflix also has what they call piggybacking. How many of you, give me a yes or no, how many of you have a relative? How many of you have ever shared a Netflix account? How many of y'all either are borrowing somebody else's password or have loaned your password out to somebody else? Raise your hand in the chat. Say yes in the chat if that's you. And by the way, everybody on Instagram, I'm going to have to shut off my Instagram. But if you want to finish the conversation, just go to theblackfinancialchannel.com. You can finish the rest of the video there. I got to shut the Instagram off now, but I'll see you guys on YouTube. All right. So how many of you have shared a Netflix account? Give me a yes or no. Yeah, right. Exactly. Everybody shared a Netflix account, right? So here's the deal. What's been going on is Netflix says that they literally factored out, they calculated that there are 100 million people sharing their Netflix account. That's insane. That's a huge number. So what a lot of people are saying is like, crap. Well, if you just go and chase down some of these people who are stealing Netflix, just like back in the day when we used to steal cable, people used to do it. Don't lie. Don't act like you never did it. If you got an uncle that worked at the cable company, you're going to get the hookup, right? So just like stealing cable, Netflix is like, wait a minute, there are 100 million people who should be paying us who are not paying us. So what Netflix is now doing is they are now trying to figure out how they're going to go back and get those people who are stealing Netflix accounts. Not that, I don't want to say steal because it makes you, I don't want you to feel bad. I want you to feel like you're a crook. I'm not calling you a criminal, but you in there taking that account and you ain't got no business being on Netflix without paying for it. And they're going to start making some of those people pay. They're probably going to put some sort of lid on the number of people you can put on your account, or they're going to do something. So that's another thing they're going to get. So they're going to go after these 100 million piggybacks. Thirdly, another factor that Netflix is dealing with. So we mentioned that they pulled out of Russia. They lost 700,000 subscribers when they left Russia. Number two, we mentioned piggybacking. Netflix has a lot of people that are piggybacking on other people's accounts, 100 million people. So they're claiming that if they can get back maybe 20 million of those people, get them to pay, then they could be in better shape. I suggest, if I were sitting there talking to Netflix, I'd say, hey, why don't you set something up where you just put a cap on the number of people that you can share with. You don't go in there like gangbusters. Don't go in there like the police, tearing everything down, because you've got too much competition now. And this is another area where some people believe Netflix made a mistake. Netflix before was swimming in what we call in economics, we call this a blue ocean. A blue ocean is where everything's clear, the water's clean, there's no dead bodies around, you can do whatever you want. Now they're swimming in what is called a red ocean. A red ocean is where everybody's come in and they've all come in and gotten the fish. There's blood everywhere because everybody's in there eating, everybody's in there eating, everybody's in there taking something out of this pool, this blue ocean you used to be in. So Netflix is now dealing with a crazy amount of what in economics, the term that they use is demand elasticity, meaning that if Netflix raises their prices, people are going to bolt. People are going to get out. So Netflix did a price increase and they lost hundreds of thousands of subscribers, particularly in Canada, because they increased their prices a little bit. Netflix could have increased their prices 3, 4, 5 years ago. People would have kept paying. But now they set the standard. Now, not only are people matching their price, people are coming in cheaper. How much is Amazon Prime? How much is Jeff Bezos? Can anybody tell me what Jeff Bezos and Amazon are charging to use Amazon Prime? What is the fee? What is the monthly fee? Somebody answer me in the chat. What is the monthly fee to use Amazon Prime? Can anybody tell me? Zero. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. They charge nothing. Well, why? Well, because on the back end, they just want you to subscribe to the Prime service. They just want you to pay to get your packages early. And then if you do that, then you can have the content for free. And guess what? They're spending big money. I don't know exactly who's spending more on content. I got to look that up. But Amazon, I know Amazon just spent, I want to say over $1 billion to acquire the Lord of the Rings franchise or something. So they're going to start doing Lord of the Rings on Amazon. So ultimately, a lot of these services are coming in and they're underpricing Netflix. And they're also doing something that many people thought Netflix needed to do in the beginning, which is there's talk of Amazon offering a lower tier service that has a lower price that comes with ads. I believe I want to say it's either HBO Max or maybe it's Paramount Plus or One of them has it, or maybe it's Disney. I don't think Disney has it. One of these services, I forget which one it is. Hulu, I think is it Hulu that has the? There's so many of them, I forget. But a couple of them have ads, or even Tubi. Tubi's free if I'm not mistaken. That's just ad supported. So there's been conversation about Netflix adding a tier that's lower priced with ads. The risk of that is that a lot of your higher tier customers are going to go to the lower tier, and you're going to lose money because of that. The other problem Netflix has, in terms of why you may or may not want to buy the stock, is there's just too much damn content. There's too much content, and there's too much money being spent on content. These companies are now in an arms race. They're all just blowing the whole stack, trying to outdo each other on content. Eventually, that's going to come down crashing and burning. Eventually, they're going to say, wait, we're not going to spend $12 billion a year making movies. That's absolutely insane. And so as that date moves forth, as we get closer to that day where they realize that they're spending too much, they're chasing too much content, or they're chasing too little content with too much money, you're going to start seeing these companies pivot. And companies that tend to be more diverse, in my view, tend to have a better ability to supplement what they're doing in this space than a Netflix. Netflix is pretty much a streaming play. They stream content, you watch it, that's it. Disney is not just a streaming play. Disney is a play where they can take a brand, they can stream it to you, they can put it in the movie theaters for you, they can create an amusement park for you, they can create merchandise for you. They also have back-end media outlets, magazines, TV stations, all this other stuff, live sports that supplements what they're doing with their content, so they can squeeze more blood out of that turnip than a Netflix can. So Netflix is probably going to have to become a little bit more like Disney. And I don't know if anybody can be more like Disney than Disney already is. I just don't know this. Netflix is trying. They've added merchandise. They've added Netflix experiences, right? With Stranger Things, when you have the big brands like and franchises like Stranger Things. What was the other one? The Asian one where everybody's getting their head blown off. You know what I'm talking about? Squid Games. They had Squid Games. That's a brand. You can take that brand and you can do other things with it. I like what Netflix is trying to do. I think that's really good. And remember, Netflix is not a crappy, dead little rinky-dink piece of crap company. Just understand this. This company is profitable, and this company is they earned what's their revenue? Let me see. What's their annual revenue? Their annual revenue. Let's see. Let me see if I can find their quarterly financials on here. They made $7 billion last quarter, $7.7 billion, and they made net income of $607 million. So they're making about a 10%, 10% net income to revenue, and that's not bad. They're not a company that's on the brink of death, right? Do not think that the plummet in the stock price means Netflix is just a horrible company. It just means Netflix is going to have to do some adjusting, and the market's going to have to do some adjusting too. And the market has adjusted. So here's my conclusion on whether or not I would buy Netflix stock. Let me tell you what I would do with Netflix stock. This is not investing advice. This is just my 2 cents. But actually, before we get to that, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Reminder, the One Africa Unity Summit is in Detroit on April 30th. If you go to boycewatkins.com, you can get a pass there. I won't be there, but a lot of other people will be there. Riza Islam, Melena Karanga, Jeffrey Smalls, Professor James Smalls, excuse me, my wife, Dr. Alicia Watkins, Dr. Ken Harris. It's a weekend-long event. So if you are a pro-Black person, you live in the Detroit area, I think you're going to like it. So go to boycewatkins.com. The passes are there. So with that said, would I buy Netflix stock? The answer is yes. The answer is yes. I would buy. I am going to actually, I am going to buy a little bit of Netflix stock and add it to my portfolio for these reasons. Number one, the stock market tends to overreact. It's like a drama queen. Sometimes when things happen, it's like, oh, Lord Jesus, we all going to die. The market tends to overswing. This is something I noticed in my research when I was working on my doctorate, that these overreactions happen all the time. I believe that the market is overreacting to Netflix's sudden change in circumstances. Number two, I have faith in Netflix management to make the right adjustments. I believe that either they will make the adjustment or they will hire people who will make the right adjustment. I don't know exactly how Reed Hastings is going to respond to this, but what people are probably doing with Netflix is they're sitting down and they're saying, let's find all the money under the couch. You ever go through that time where you don't have any money and you blew the whole bag, you blew your whole paycheck and you're mad as hell about it, but then you suddenly realize that you have money in your sock, you had some coins under the couch, you had money stacked away that you put in your penny jar upstairs. So you start pulling all the money in all the places that you should have, or your cousin rerun owes you $25 and he never paid back. Anybody ever go through that where you're suddenly realizing all this money that you can see now that you couldn't see before because you were doing so well? When you're balling out of control, you miss the little things. But when times get tough and the scrutiny is high, the rent money's due, then you go and you turn over every rock. Netflix has a lot of rocks it can turn over. Netflix has the ability to go and scrape up a few $1 billion in lost revenue, starting with the 100 million people who are using Netflix for free. That's the first place to start. Second of all, you got gaming. They're starting to add different kinds of content through gaming and stuff like that. I like the use of experiences and merchandise. I like the idea of having an ad-supported tier for customers to go to. And maybe if they're really lucky, they can find a premium tier. Maybe there's something premium they can offer that goes to another level that has a higher average order value per customer. So I think Netflix is going to fix some of this stuff. I really do. I think that the drop in the price, a lot of it is also linked to the fact that you have a post-pandemic hangover. During the pandemic, a lot of these companies were making so much money, and for some reason, we get trapped in the moment. We think it's going to be 2020 forever. Now it's not 2020 anymore. Now it's 2022. And I was talking to you guys every single day in 2020, just like I'm talking to you every single day in 2022. And 2022 won't always be here. I'll be talking to you every single day, Lord willing, in 2024. And then we'll be doing it again in 2026 and 2028. And so what I want you to understand is that this too shall pass. Everything is temporary for the most part. And so ultimately, I would argue that Netflix's situation is pretty temporary. I think they're going to make a comeback. I don't think the stock is going to go back to 700, so don't count on that. But if you look at things like their price earnings ratio, which is like 20, and Disney's price earnings ratio is like over 70, some would argue that Netflix might be a good deal. But again, it comes down to how management responds to changing conditions. They are in a new market, in a new economy, and they're going to have to flip it up a little bit if they're going to survive in this new space. The market they're in now is not the one that they were in 10 years ago. Hopefully the management will understand that, or somebody's going to do them just like they did Blockbuster. All right. So anyway, that's my 2 cents on Netflix stock. By the way, if you want a free e-copy of my book, I told you guys about the $100,000 pledge. I believe every Black family should raise $100,000 for their children by the time they become adults. And I've created an ebook to show you exactly how to do it. It's very easy. Go to blackmoneyminute.com. You can invest $5 a day and achieve this goal, but you got to start now. So go to blackmoneyminute.com. The ebook is free. You can download it there, and you can take a look and let me know what you guys think in terms of what you're doing for your family, or what you think I can also put together for you to help you achieve your goals. Okay, guys. And if you want to know more about other stocks that are out there, we talk about stocks all the time. Every single week, we have stock market investing class. So if you go to boycewatkins.com, you can join the class. You can leave me specific questions about specific stocks you want to know about, or whatever it is. The students can all do that, and I will answer every single question. I will do the research for you, and I'd love to help you. All right, guys, I'm out of here. Please have a good day. Thank you, and I'll probably be back a little bit later. You guys know how I am. I'm on here. I love talking to you guys all the time. It's probably a little weird, but I don't care. I'm okay with being weird for you a little bit. I'm kind of I'm simping for you. I'm simping for y'all because I love you and I want to see you win. So just call me Boyce the Financial Simp, because I'm simping for you right now, because I really want to see you become successful. I really want to see your kids win. I want to see B1 culture win. I want to see Black people on top, and I don't give a damn what anybody thinks. That's where we're going. That's where we're at. That's what we're going to be, and I hope you agree. And I love you, and I'll see you later. I'm going to go get me a massage. I'll talk to you guys later. Have a good day. Peace.